This presentation is Journey to Build Up the Knowledge Base for Comparative Public Administration, Understanding of the Republic of Korea. First, I want to introduce the ARIC, Asia Regional Information Center. This Asia Regional Information Center is placed as a part of the Asia Center of Seoul National University. Asia Center covers all the Asian countries related research. Some part of the research is related to the history. Other part of the research is related to the political system, public administration system, and so forth. So the Seoul National University established the Asia Center. And in 2018, I was invited to establish this Asia Regional Information Center because to study these Asian issues, we need a well-established database. So they asked me to build up that database. So we have a couple of the missions. First, we try to build up the macro data. Macro data comes from the IMF, UN, World Bank, and also comes from various international organizations accumulate the data. So we try to connect or link these different sources of the data to understand the macro status of the Asian countries. In my case, I do not distinguish Asia and the non-Asian country. In fact, the most of data covers all the countries around the world. Second, microdata, survey data. This is very expensive. To collect the survey data at the each country level, it requires huge amount of budget. And as you know, I'm very poor professor. My salary is not enough to cover the worldwide level of survey. And unfortunately, I don't have the donors. I have no relation with the Samsung or Hyundai or other big companies. So sadly, I could not launch this survey. But thankfully, the Asia Centers got the fund this year. So we will start the international survey focusing on the major urban areas of the Asia. So around the 28 countries, urban cities will be covered by this survey. So the next year, we start to this international survey, and Asia Regional Information Center will contribute to design and analyze this survey data. And also, we try to utilize the more internet sources and the academic materials to collect informations. And based on this data, we want to develop so-called country profile. When you visit our Asia Regional Information Center, you can find a couple of the example of the country profile. Overview of the country or public health care system of the Asian country and so forth. And we develop this country profile at the at each Asian country level every year. And also the other activities is the country report, which I introduced. And this country report is uniquely produced by the GMPA students. Because of the COVID-19, we could not organize the big conference or the workshop, since we try to take off our mask, so that we will have some meetings to develop this country report projects. And the data visualization, analysis and the visualization, we try to utilize a couple of we developed some software making you easier to analyze your countries, the economic or social systems. Some of you already experienced this. This year, the winter sessions, the semester, I introduced data analytics course, and there you can use our SDG. You can analyze the SDG data using our CoreApp and the SAS software. And that is the part of our database, the data analytical software. And issue papers. This issue paper is nowadays launched by the Asia Center. And every month, we try to introduce some issues observed in Asian countries. Unfortunately, this issue paper is written in Korean. But someday, we try to translate this into English. And the trend report, this trend report tried to use the web crawling method, but technically we can do it. But our Eric actually has the very short, very limited human resources, so we could not launch the comprehensive trend report. But we already have some web crawling technology, so we can analyze the SNS, newspaper, and so forth to catch up the trend observed in different countries. So those are the basic ideas what the Eric should do when I established this Eric. Well, there are a couple of things, but what is the Eric specialized in? Probably, if you return to your country and if you want to understand the other Asian countries or the other developing countries, but you don't know where to get the data, probably Eric would be the best friends of you. We can provide the on-demand data service. Also, we can provide the data analysis on timely manners. So the Eric will be the foundation of the connecting different databases and the different experts and also different efforts of the research. In 2022, we try to do want to do many things, but this is not just a plan. Plan is plan. I don't know how much we can achieve this plan, but one of the most important part that Eric plans to do is this educational seminars. We try to offer more seminars, how to analyze the international data to derive the more relevant policy implications. Okay, what is country report? 2 goals. Have you accessed the CIA fact books? Anyone access the CIA fact books? Raise your hand if you did. Wow. Wow. This is really wow, because if you study the public administration, political science, and want to do some comparative analysis, definitely CIA fact book is the best source. CIA? No, okay, my friend Michael say no. But it is more accessible and visible. It is exposed to the Google very well. So if we want to type some question in the Google, that the CIA fact book usually come out. So that it is very good one, but the problem is when I ask the students to write the country report, they usually provide some descriptions. Okay, my country has stabilized some years, and the president was who, and then there was some political turmoil, and we regained the democracy, and blah 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 things. So the students draw the information from the Wikipedia or the internet or the sources. The question is, this kind of qualitative information does not guarantee or does not provide the objective information. So we need to balance between 3 things. First, quantitative data, qualitative data, and also thick description. We need this tripod. By balancing these 3 different sources, we can provide the better understand. We can make our leaders better understand each country's status. So we try to develop the country report through the quantitative analysis with text description and also the qualitative information, which is based on the experience of our contributors like you. Of course, there are many country reports out there. For example, World Economic Outlook, developed by the IMF. IMF is a very rich organization. How can I compete with the IMF? So the IMF already offered this country report. What is the comparative advantages of our country report? The basic comparative advantage is we try to provide this different sources of data not necessarily economic data, but also the political and administrative data. And our local knowledge about each country's administrative system will also help to improve the quality of the report. And sometimes like a European semester or some World Bank try to issue the special country report focusing on specific topic. For example, COVID-19 report of the Vietnam, COVID-19 report of the Estonia, something like that. So there is very specialized this country report focusing on specific topics. Okay. So there are so many different kinds of available country report, the CIA effectiveness, World Economic Outlook, and so forth. But then why do we write the country report? First, educational purpose. If you guys have the chance to read it, and you will find that, oh, yeah, I didn't know this. Oh, when we want to understand the history of some country, it should not limit it. It should not this understanding should not limit it to political system or economic system. We also need to understand the change of the culture or the change of the values. You may got some ideas from by reading this my book. So by contributing this country report, you try to reflect your experience of your country's the administrative or the political system. If you guys try to write up the history of your country, you realize that you actually do not much understand the history of your country. For example, the constitutions. Everybody knows that constitution is important, but they don't know how this constitution has developed over years. So by doing this practice, country report project, you can get more understanding of your countries. Also, you can have the chance to practice for the academic writing. Writing is really tough. So when we start this book project, it is very difficult to use the plain language to explain the country. So also, language should be very precise, because a lot of the indicators related to the political or social system has its unique jargons. So we have to use that jargon to explain it. So that would be very helpful for academic writings. And also, sometimes you have some interest in the comparative ideas. For example, when you introduce your countries, or let's use the Ghana. If you try to explain the Ghana, then the Ghana is not the only country in Africa, and you may have the temptation to compare the Ghana with other countries. The comparative ideas is naturally embedded in the country. So when we do the SDGs project, do you remember when you develop the SDG the database, you try to compare your country with other countries by comparing the different the indicators. So that would be, I think, the good approach for the getting into the comparative public administration research. And objective evidence. Let me, when you write up the economic status of your country, many of you did not realize that GDP per capita of your country is very different. GDP per capita measured by the PPP or the real US dollars or current US dollars. According to the sources of data, you can find the different size of the GDP per capita. And also, when we say the aging society, what do we mean by the aging society? What is the criteria that distinguish between the aging society and the super-aging society? We have no idea, but by looking at the number, we get better the precise ideas. And we try to collect more, not the subject for objective evidence by looking at the numbers. And also the opportunity for the presentations. Probably some of you will have a chance to present your works in our Korea Association of Public Administration summer conference. So some students have the opportunity to introduce their country report to other audience. So probably pretty much good, pretty much good. So the educational wise or the training, the collecting and analyzing objective evidence, and also your chance to the sharing your ideas with the other colleagues. So this would be very beneficial to many, but it is very challenging. It is very difficult to implement. I cannot go more on, but I will give some unique nature of our country report. When you read my book, you find that all the chapters consist of the questions. When you read academic books, all these academic books usually introduce some institutional structure or administrative structure or some policies. But we start with each chapter by asking some questions. This is called question-driven evidence-based data analysis. Evidence-based policymaking is very important towards the modern public administration and public policy. But I always challenge that idea because evidence is meaningless without proper questions. Why do we need evidence? Because we want to use this evidence and without the proper question, our collection of the evidence will be biased. So that's the reason that I try to use the question-driven evidence-based data analytics. So that's pretty much the unique nature of our book. And the second thing is this country report consists of two parts. First part is country review. And this country review covers the geography and demography, economy, trade and industry, infrastructure, welfare, poverty, health, society and culture, environment, national security, and safety. Also, we add the international cooperation section. You may think this is cliche. That is not too naive, not much different. But when we select each subject, we had the series of the meetings with our colleagues, our airing members. Here there is the members, the Yun Yabin, and she actually the member of the ARIC. And we had a series of the meetings. And in the meetings, okay, we should include this topic. Oh, no. We need to include this. So we had lots of the debates. Through this debate, we selected the key issues to understand each country. So this is the national conditions and the major indicators. And the second part is issues in public administration and governance. It is also difficult to select the issues or the areas of public administration. Political structures, the constitution, personal management, budget management, and welfare system, infrastructure, and so forth. We have to also choose the public administration and the public policy field. So when you read this book consists of this, the country review part, and the other one is this administrative system and the administration and the governance part. In fact, we had another part. The third part of this book should be about the SDGs. But unfortunately, we started this SDG part, but we realized that it is very difficult to finish this SDG part in a given time. So we decide to include the SDG part in the future editions. Okay. Here are the basic the table of contents. Country review part, as I told, the geography and democracy. And as you see here, what are the geographical characteristics of South Korea? We propose these kinds of the questions. Let me ask you this question, okay? Who will be? Sok-Sakon, you bought the book, right? Buying does not mean the reading. However, Sok-Sakon. So I want to ask you, what are the geographical characteristics of South Korea? Mountainous, yes? That's the reason you have to read the book. Or second question, is South Korea getting old? You may think the aging society is not your country's problem. But I say, definitely it will be your country's problem. The South Korea did not expect this kinds of very fast aging society. Even the Vietnam, even the China, nowadays experience the aging society or the aged society problem. So you may think, okay, many Koreans, South Korean concern these aged society issues. So you may ask, is South Korea getting old? Answer would be definitely yes. But what should be the behind the stories of the aging society? Why? And what happens? If you want to know more about this, read the book. I think I'm a pretty good sailor. Okay, so these kinds of the questions consist. My book consists of these kinds of the questions. So in case of the public administration and governance, political structure, constitution, personal management, performance management, budget management, local administration and decentralization, public sector reform, NGO and civil society, and I include this weird section called major research institutes. Why? I include the research institution as a major section of public administration and governance. The behind the story is ecology of knowledge system of the country. Think over your countries. How many research institutes your countries have? Private or the government funded? And what is the quality of this research institute? And how these research institutes play a role in policy-making process? And how these research institutes link to the higher education system? We always talk about the human capital issues, and we think that establishing more universities or giving more scholarship, giving more money to the students, that would make us achieve the high quality of human capital. But my answer is definitely no. After graduation, how students utilize their knowledge? Should the government employ them all? I don't think so. How about the private companies? Yes, some of them get a job in the private sector, but if some are very interested in academic research or scientific research, they should have the opportunity to use their knowledge. To do that, we need to provide some places. In that regard, the research institutes play very significant roles. And nowadays, if you look at Korea, we have, I think, more than hundreds of the government-funded research institutes actually provide the valuable knowledge in different areas. So for the developing countries, I think you seriously consider the ecosystem, ecology of the knowledge systems, including the research institutes. That was the reason that I included this. So these are the part of the major topics I cover in the books. Okay, then I do many works, but here you go. As you see, probably you may not see this wall, but some of you experience this. Here is the Google Drive. Well, we include all the country report we have developed so far. For example, let's see the Peru. This is the COVID-19 report. This is the country report specialized in the COVID-19. So these are some part. The former students actually developed this COVID-19 report. And I expect you also contribute this COVID-19 report as well. And beside this country report related to COVID-19, also we have the country report. So in case of the Vietnam, you can see the pretty much the information, but still not enough though. But they try to develop this kinds of overview of the countries and also introduce some public administration issues of the Vietnam. So the different level of the country report. So after 3 or 5 years later, this country report will be formalized and will be ready to publish. And then the different quality of the country report will reflect to your country's situations. If you dedicate more for this country report, then many people will have better chances to understand your country. If not, then people will have less information. So we already have these kinds of the country report of different countries. So here are all the database we have, and everybody can contribute to this. In the Google Doc, everybody add their own topics in the country report, and I also trace what has changed by whom. So don't worry that if you add your own the contribution, then it will be directly reflect to your country's country report. And also I could intervene if some contents are not correct, then I also modify it. Okay. So this is the part of the Google Drive. And also in Google Drive, here is, you hate the statistic though, but here are the softwares for developing the quantitative analysis of each country. So if you guys want to analyze economic system, okay, I want to analyze this and that indicators, and if you tell us what indicator you want to analyze, then we can give you the data from the IMF, World Bank, United Nations, and so forth. So if you specify the data, then we can also help how to utilize this data to write your country report. Okay. So that's it. So this is the basic structure of the country report. And then every semesters, I try to organize some meetings to help develop this country report for the students. And we will start this very soon. In the summer vacation, we will have a course. And in the class, I will ask you to do the practice of the country report. Writing the country report.